Guys, welcome to the space. As you know, I like to keep this really intimate and a nice, calm, relaxed opening. Today's really special. I've interviewed a lot of male guests, got us guys to be vulnerable and talk about their stories of strength out of struggle. Today, it's a privilege to have a guest that's played an important role in my life. She's helped deliver two of our children. Please welcome midwife extraordinaire, Xoli Makabane. Welcome.
Thank you
Welcome,
so
welcome,
much,
Queen.
Kurt.
Welcome so much.
Thank you, Kurt. I
I
really
mean, I've been
appreciate.
trying to get you on the show for so long.
Yes, and it would have been nice on the
Wow.
Midwifery Week,
Yeah.
International Midwives Week,
Yeah.
and I was looking forward, but unfortunately, ended up with a birth, ended
Yes.
up with this and that. But here we are.
Let's go back to the beginning. What got you? Did you always want to be a midwife from young? What was life like for Xoli as a young kid?
Girl. Where I'm coming from, Eastern Cape, remember?
Yes.
Okay, then I grew up in area of Mdantsane, left there around about age of 7 or 8. But irrespective of that young age,
Yeah.
I still remember a nurse that was staying in our street, staying Wat Tree,
Yes.
which was down with this nurse who used to walk from the hospital, but the station, down past our house. And I used to look at her and feel like one day I'll be like you. I'll be a nurse like you.
She had the outrun, the nice white
Beautiful
dress
outfit, perfect
Clean.
walk, clean.
Yes, yes.
And I just wanted to be like her, and I didn't even know what nurses were
Yes,
doing.
yes, yes.
Okay. And so that means as early as the age of 6,
Yes.
I wanted to be a nurse.
Wow.
But now, fast forward, I go to the nursing school, I qualify as a nurse, and I feel like one thing that I will never do is to be a midwife.
Okay.
Okay. Because my take on midwives was that they were the most cruel people ever in
Why?
the nursing profession. Remember, it was easy those days to see a midwife beating a woman out who's frightened, who doesn't want to push and all that,
Wow.
and using sometimes aggressive words
Okay.
instead of tenderness and encouragement. So at heart, all I wanted was tenderness and I wanted love. Up until one day, as we were doing our final year, it was compulsory those days that you need to do midwifery, even if you're not going to practice midwifery.
Just to be prepared.
To be prepared. So I go to the midwifery course, and we are taken to a place called MB Lisweni Home, if I get it right. And there are kids with special needs, challenges. And I remember interviewing this young boy who was blind. And I said, what happened? And he says, if it was not for the stupidness, I'll be having my vision. Then that means it was a premature baby who was given high levels of oxygen, and that damaged the retina and all that. Then I interviewed the next one, and almost all these kids, it's birth related. Then that is the day that changed my life. And I thought I will make a difference. I will never produce any of this condition
Yes.
intentionally.
So do you think there was a lack of care or passion that was causing all these injuries, and what was it?
Yes.
Because I do believe that nurses, medical people, and teachers
Yes.
need to be treated with the most respect. First of all, need to be the most qualified, but also should be the best taken care of because they're dealing with life or death.
Yes, there's a lot of burnout.
Yeah.
Okay, lack of passion. Most of the time, you remember the nursing police department, those are some of us went into those vocations because we needed to liberate our families.
Yes.
Because those were the only courses that will be offered while you be getting paid.
Yes.
So there's a lot of nurses that went to nursing, not because they were passionate, but because it was means to alleviate
Become
poverty.
means to an end, yeah,
Yes. And similarly to the police, there are few of the police that would say, I chose police service because I wanted.
You just stumbled upon it.
Yes, I stumbled upon it. So there were a lot of nurses that didn't want to be nurses.
And you can tell that sometimes if you're going to some of the hospitals that you feel there's a bit of bitterness with some of the people,
Yes,
like, you know.
yes.
And only now and again you meet someone that's really the light that lights up the place.
Yes.
I always wondered what made that one person different from the rest. Is it a calling? Is it God in your life? What is it that changes, you know, that one person's...
Mostly it's the calling.
Yeah, the calling.
The calling. If you do it from your heart, you don't give a damn whether you paid or not paid.
It's a secondary thing.
It's a secondary thing.
Yeah.
I always say to my kids when they were choosing profession, I said, choose what you want,
Yes.
not what will make you rich.
Yes.
Okay. Then you'll never work a day
In your life.
in your life.
Which is what I do.
Absolutely, which is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. One of the dads made me to laugh one day. We're carrying on with labor. We started in the afternoon. And now around about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, he's falling apart. And I'm so excited because now we are doing so well. We are
close.
8 centimeters. And he looks at me and says, Mom Xoli, why are you so happy? I said, because you are sad. And someone in the room must be happy because I'm about to meet your baby now.
About to bring something
Yes,
new.
I'm about to bring.
And I know the call
yeah.
because I've had
Yes.
a lot of kids. The 8 centimeter call, and then you can't wait to get to the 10 centimeter.
Yes, and we're there, 8 centimeters, and I'm lighting up, and I'm saying, baby, you can do it. You're going to do this. You're almost there. Let's do this. Let's do that.
And it's teamwork.
Yes.
And
let's
we'll
do this.
we'll get into our own experience when I was with you in that
Yes.
space. But first I want to just get the background.
Yes.
And another reason why I also wanted to get you on the show is because my show is connected with wellness and a fit life. And I always noticed from the beginning with how you treat your patients and stuff that it's all about healthy life. You advise the ladies to be fit and healthy throughout the pregnancy and beyond. Was that part of your life growing up, health and eating and exercise? How was that introduced to you?
You know, now later on in my life, I always think about the richness of
Yes.
my life, which I didn't understand that I was so rich as a kid.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Growing up in Eastern Cape, my dad took us away from East London and took us to former Transkei, wherein there were a lot of chicken farming, and we were eating
outdoors.
organic
Yeah, for sure.
food.
Yeah.
Everything. I remember storytelling time in Tsomi, which will sit by the fire,
Wow.
roasting potato, roasting sweet potato,
Yes,
fresh
yes.
from the garden. And you're thinking that is rich.
Blue sky, stars.
Blue sky,
no
talking,
noise, pollution.
fresh water coming from the rain tank and all. And we were having best life. And I always say, back to basics.
Back to basics.
Back to basics. Don't run away and be sold dream of good life.
Yes.
Butter, olive oils, this and that, and you're thinking that is richness.
Yes.
Can we just go back into walking? Every human being was custom designed to walk.
To move. Just get to move.
Get moving.
Yeah.
Don't sit on your bum. You are pregnant.
Yes.
You are not having a medical condition.
Yes.
You can never eat for two.
Yes.
You've got one stomach.
Yes.
And everything is distributed by the placenta in accordance to what your baby needs.
Yes.
Not the notion that I'm pregnant, I'm eating for two. That's nonsense. Drink as much fluids as you can and be in a good state of mind.
Yes.
Enjoy your life. Enjoy your pregnancy.
Yeah.
It is the only thing that you can offer to your baby for free.
And you know, when I look back at the pregnancies, I always say that it was the best part of our relationship because all these endorphins are released into the mother.
Yes.
It's amazing. I wanted to talk about, because I'm sure you've been in tough situations, beautiful, amazing situations.
Yes.
What was the worst scenario you were in? Did you ever, has there been a chance where you've lost a child at childbirth? And what's that like? Because no one gets to talk to you about that. You never get counseling. You there in the front line. I've been there with you. where it's like everything stops. It's just, and if you may so explain, take us through what happened and how you got through the worst to be here still.
There's quite a few. I mean, as a midwife, you will always know that there's life and death. But the joy of midwifery, the joy of what I'm doing is that 99% will always be joy and offering the parents a beautiful, healthy child. I'll share you the day wherein
I'm sorry to take you there, but it's just so other people realize that you're not alone.
Yeah. I lost a baby, and everybody, you know, when you losing a child in birthing space, and everything was so beautiful. This beautiful girl comes out, and we are excited. We even sucking the tube. Those days we're still in practice of suctioning the mouth and all that. Little bit of suctioning that was not even aggressive, and she's sucking the tube, and body comes out. Gone, baby gone.
Just like that?
Just like that. And I remember we calling the paramedics because the maternity session is on its own. Okay, let's call people from the ER department to help with the resuscitation while the pediatrician is on the way.
Yeah.
And the baby never came back.
So when the baby came through, she was up, and then just next thing?
Gone. No heartbeat, nothing. You were listening to the heartbeat 5 minutes before with a monitor, and 5 minutes later the baby is out and there's no life. Okay. And the most difficult time is sometimes the words that are said to you at a particular time by people that are supposed to be comforting you. I remember walking into neonate when the resuscitation, they could pick up that they were not able to save the baby.
Yeah.
And the pediatrician said, allow her to go and see the child she's killed. Now you are having this guard of honor of everybody who's standing there, who was helping to resuscitate, waiting for you to walk through.
The blame is put on you.
Yes. And almost like being blamed.
Yeah.
And in that situation, you've got the hospital against you. You've got the pediatrician against you. You've got everybody against you. But the most beautiful thing happened out of that experience. The mother, it says she did everything that she knew to make me to be the mom. And I cannot blame this on her.
Wow. What did that feel like, at that moment?
At that moment, to know that the person who matters most to me is my client.
Yeah.
And for her to stand by me, to say, there is nothing that I'm going to do to litigate her when she's influenced to litigate me.
Wow.
That was a turning point also on my faith, that there is still humanity.
Yeah.
There is still humanity, because if everybody was doing a blame game like that, it would have been easy for me to lose that court case.
Now, since we are in that space, I was just talking to you before the interview about the time when we lost a child at childbirth and what it's like for any family to have a pregnancy, and then the medical professionals, you were there when we diagnosed, there were issues with the baby, and everything seemed to be normal.
Yes.
And I've never been able to talk about this to anyone or publicly, but you were there, and you helped us bring 2 of the children into the world, and we'll talk about the joy after this. What does it feel like when you're giving the parents the news that there's something wrong with the child and you might have to terminate? What does it feel like?
That is the worst. That is the worst thing, the worst news to deliver to any mom, especially. Especially moms, because what are you talking about? 12 weeks.
Everything feels normal.
Everything
it's way past
feels,
the 12.
and you listening to the heartbeat.
Yeah.
Heartbeat is beautiful.
Yeah.
Why are you saying this baby is not compatible
Yes.
with life? And who are you to tell me
Yeah.
that this baby is not compatible with life? The anger, the denial, all the stages of grief
Exactly.
that are going to be playing after you deliver this news. That's when sometimes you have to be quite tactful and deliver the news at the right time.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes you will keep quiet, and when you know what is happening, and just wait for the right moment to say, okay, yeah, there's concerns. Let's have another scan. Let's seek second opinion.
Can you sometimes feel that something's wrong before you, like you brought in the expert, Mareka, to do the scan? Do you have a premonition? Are you feeling before that something may be wrong? Is there something different between that pregnancy and others? What makes you, or is it just when you're looking at the scan do you see? Well, what's that like? I mean,
Once one of the obstetrician that I used to work with used to say, I will never underestimate. Oh, that's my phone.
Don't worry.
Okay, that's fine. You can just switch. No, okay. 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 And it says, when you are having concerns, I will never underestimate your concern. What had happened that morning, I said to him, I don't know what I'm feeling here. The heartbeat is perfect. Everything is great. We're doing the induction, and she never went into labor. I said, can we quickly do the scissor? And he says, I'm starting the list at 8 o'clock. I said, do you mind if we can do it now at 6? Okay. We did the scissor at 6 o'clock. Yeah. That baby, I'm still in touch. He's just turned 19. I'm still in touch with that family because she always, every year, she says, I owe it to you that he is alive. Yeah. Every birthday, I will always celebrate it with you. And I said, let's do the scissor. I don't know, I've got a feeling that something is not okay here. Yeah. And he says, but the CTG is perfect. I said, it is perfect, but something is telling me. I've got a feeling that something is wrong. Yeah. And that baby, we do what is called APGA scoring. Yeah. Came up with an APGA of 1 from a perfect CTG. Mm-hmm. It was hectic resuscitation that made that baby to stay in ICU for 3 weeks. But that baby lived. Wow. That was instinct. Mm-hmm. And she kept on asking me, what is wrong? I said, there's nothing wrong, but can we get this baby out? And because of trust, she agreed. Yeah. So sometimes you do get that little bit of a feeling because even in your situation, there was no reason for me to be so concerned. Yeah. We're still early in pregnancy. And I just kept on getting this abnormal heartbeat. Yeah. And perfect. 1 beat is not normal. That's when now I referred you to the sonographer to check out what exactly is happening. And that's when she confirmed that there are gross malformations.
Yeah. Then we had to go from specialist to specialist, and then what happens is parents go through this denial. Everything seems to be normal. Yes. The other kids are normal.
And we use that as a benchmark. I've managed to produce healthy babies.
And then I remember us, and I've never talked about this, that's why the viewers and we all, and I'm thank you for giving me this time. We go to specialists, and one after the other, there's this story, one after the other. Till finally you have no choice. They're saying, you've got all these other healthy kids, and in order to give them quality of life, this has to happen. And I kept on asking every question, isn't there a way? Isn't there some way? They'll tell you, as soon as that child is born, maybe 1 hour, and everything you've ever owned and more.
Does
you
it
just
matter?
can't. So eventually we get to the point where we have to have the procedure done, and it changes your life. And I'm sure a lot of people out there that have been through this will know. It's a whole day procedure, and and the baby mama is going through all the trauma and then wants to change mind, but you can't because this is what has to happen. The next day was my son's birthday, so I had to rush out, feeling like my heart was broken, to get him a present to come back. And I just remember after the procedure being the only one there normal and holding this child to my chest. My partner's not conscious. And I looked at the doctor's face and I could tell the doctor was as lost as anyone. Like there was no answer. Only at that moment I knew only God knows. And that obviously changed it changed everything in my life. I'm only healing from that now, but I'll never ever forget. But that was the worst moment for me, and but now I want to talk about, because you can too get over it. There's God is real. You maybe not all have the answers, but we can keep on going. Sure, and thank God for this and for you, people like you.
There's nobody who can tell you how long grief is gonna hit you.
Yeah.
How you're gonna heal. Someone was saying that losing my husband was better, but losing my child, I lost me.
Yeah.
I lost my soul when I lost my child. I lost my husband and I lost my child, but I felt more loss.
And we were talking about the guilt that one goes through. Could I have done anything better?
Absolutely.
I wish I could have taken away the pain from my partner.
Yes.
I mean, it caused us such damage in our relationship that I just wish we could get to the point where we could hold each other and say, it's going to be okay. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. What would you say?
But
you
we
see
were
hurt
both
all
young,
around you.
But
Yeah.
we were both young and you didn't know much about what you know now.
Yeah.
Maybe if that had happened now, you could have handled it a little bit more better.
I know. You know, you do better when you know better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to go to some highlights now. You helped us bring 2 children into this world. The first one, you remember my son, Satori.
Yes.
And
I remember.
you knew I never missed one visit to you. I kept on asking, what do you remember about?
Yes, yeah. You know, the most beautiful thing, I've got a memory for things that happened donkey years. New things I don't remember much.
Yeah.
I don't know whether maybe I should have blame age, but I remember his birth.
Let's talk about what has happened. There was lightning. And I tell people, like, they think I'm making it up like it was like the arrival of the Lion King. But remember, it was storming, there was lightning.
Yes.
And then you helped me.
I said,
hold
hold your son. Bring your son out.
And you helped me. So I was nervous.
And I was saying to you, maybe we should name him Stone. The way it was, a lot of lightning outside.
And as we pulled him out, it just went quiet.
Peace. And the rain stopped.
I was like, whoa.
Oh, the rain stopped.
And you're the only one. The 3 of us were there and him. And hopefully one day he's going to see this.
Yes.
And know. I've told him about it before. And wow.
It was so special. It was so special. But don't you find that even your pain of losing, somewhere, somehow, there's always a healing, a bandage to say that I was there for the 2 of them. And it was the most beautiful experience.
Yeah, it's just so crazy that all I can say is you're only as happy as your saddest child, first of all.
Yes.
Next thing I can say is that the true empathy and compassion I have for anyone else that's going through a similar pain, you can't have that unless you've been through that. You said you look back at your younger child. Like I look back and I used to look back and think, oh, we went through poverty, blah, blah, blah. It was a bad childhood. And I look back and I'm going, how blessed was I? That prepared me for now. The not having enough to eat or this or that. So now when I'm going through a little bit of a hard time, I'm like, yo, believe me, it could be worse. And I know God is real. I know nothing's promised you except now. And there's always a chance to make things better.
And always when you're thinking that God is not doing anything for you, and that is the time that God is lifting you up. Yeah. And you'll sing only one set of footstep because He's carrying you to be where you are at the moment. And true reflection and true self.
Yeah. How many children do you have?
I've got 3.
Now, let's talk about those birthing experiences. How did they come into the world?
Maybe that is the reason why I ended up with so much passion, because with my eldest, after being in labor for 18 hours, severe emergency, cesarean section, meconium, this and that, and I felt like I could do better for another person.
Yeah.
And every birth that I had, I was never a private midwife then.
Yeah.
Okay, was still employed. But I kept on saying, there must be something that can be done for another woman.
Yeah.
That could be done better. Like with my daughter, the second one, wherein I was in labor for such a long period of time, latent phase wherein you're niggling, you're going into labor, you know that you are in labor,
Yeah.
but nothing much is happening.
I can tell.
Yes.
You must have been so frustrated.
Yes. And you want to make recommendations, suggestions, and you're being shut off. You cannot manage yourself. Okay. Then that's when I vowed that when I started my private midwifery practice, I decided that consultative processes and options will be the base of my practice. Everybody who has gone through me will say, I was given options. I was told that you could be induced. You could have cesarean section. You
We're
could
told
wait.
plan B happening. We've got plan B on standby.
Yes, this is where we are now. We are 2 centimeters. You could go home. It's still a little bit early because the next check is in 4 hours' time.
Yeah.
Or you can hang around.
Yeah.
Or
Yes.
whatever. I'm not saying that the next check will be in 4 hours' time, but I'm just giving a ball figure, okay, so that the mom can also understand, make an informed choice.
Yes.
Because that is all women need, is to be informed and make a choice.
Yeah.
Yes, you can guide, and these days it's so difficult because you're guiding, and you've got a mom that is on social media.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is using ChatGPT, who is using AI and whatever information that is pertaining to her. Okay. She's verifying it with everybody else who is not looking after her.
I get that with some of my, as a coach, some of my clients, they sometimes trust the podcast more than me, and I'm like, you know, some of these people aren't even as qualified as me. They're actually just saying what I know. I'm just not shouting it out because I'm just doing my job.
Yes.
You know?
So I'm looking at you right now. I'm not looking at 10,000 other people. This
individual,
is what, yes, this is you at the moment. These are your challenges. This is the challenge that is lying ahead of us. Hence, I'm making this recommendation.
Yeah.
So let's see how we can skin this cat.
Yeah.
And the young mom who believes in technology will say, okay, I've done my research. Okay,
Oh my gosh.
just leave me alone. Perfect. I will
Respect.
honor. Yes,
Yes.
I have to respect.
Yes.
As long as the baby is not in danger.
Yes.
Up until the baby is in danger, that I will have to take a stand and say, listen, you are putting your life in danger right now. So I'm handing over to a higher power.
Exactly.
So now it's no more in my care.
Yeah.
Let me hand over to an obstetrician so that only then that sometimes...
Also, you've obviously learned from what can go wrong, how to protect yourself, because you have to protect yourself.
Exactly, you have to.
I want to take you to one of the most beautiful moments in my life that you shared with my family and I, which is the birth of our daughter.
Yes.
The funny thing is, throughout that pregnancy, we'd play music.
Yep.
Like Delia would play music, and this child just responded to Al Green.
Yes.
So in love with you. She just kept on moving, and
yes.
So then,
I still
for that
remember.
birth, as we were at Genesis, and we asked you, okay, so one thing, we always asked for a space where I could also be there. 'Cause I didn't know where I was leaving. Once I'm there, I'm there also. We all in there. And we got this beautiful room, and we planned a water birth.
Yes.
So we made a playlist.
Yes.
I made that playlist, and as the time was getting closer, put the music on. How was that experience for you? Was that normal to you, or were we just one of the only people that did that type of stuff? Because it was the most beautiful birth. The water, the way it happened, the way she came in, and the way she just lay on the pillow like, yeah, I'm home here,
yes.
with the music in the background. What is that like, if you do remember?
You know, mostly that is the stance that I take. Babies are made with love.
Yeah.
Majority of time.
Yes.
Babies are made with love.
Yes.
Okay. Bring love as a main ingredient
Yes.
when you go into labor.
Yes.
And you will never go wrong.
Wow.
Even if the outcomes are not what we wanted.
Yeah.
Maybe you end up with a cesarean section, but should you bring love
Yes.
as the main ingredient as you go into labor? Hence, I usually say, bring something that is beautiful, scented candles.
Yeah. I said that from
yes,
nice, I remember.
Soften the light. Don't have a floodlight
Yes,
in your
yes,
labor.
yes.
Let's dim the lights.
Yeah.
Let's play music. Let's get in the bath and relax in water.
And she didn't even need any medication. I was
exactly.
like, wow. But then again, Billy was a warrior as well. She,
Yes.
like, I was like, whoa.
Well,
The pain that you... Some,
And should she have needed something for pain, it is not a failure for
Yes,
a woman.
yes.
It's still
I was like, it's up to you. Whatever you need,
Right.
however we get through this, we get through this.
Most of the births that I do, I always insist that they play music. I love music. I get by.
Yeah.
I was telling my daughter recently, I said, you know, in the mornings when I'm going to work, even in the afternoons, if it's at night, I never listen to the radio. Because the radio is going to bring me what's negative.
News, this is
News
that.
and all that. If I'm going for the birth, let me play music.
Yes.
Bring my mind into a space of happiness. I always say to the moms that I'm birthing, well, sometimes you get this stiff mom, and I say, this is a spiritual journey for me.
Isn't it
I
so?
am not here to earn living. I'm here to fulfill my mandate.
You're an earth angel. I mean, like,
Yes.
only unless if someone has been in that experience, and I'm so privileged. And of course, I'd have 100 children because I love kids so much. But it's an amazing experience when you've got the right people in the room, the right energy. I wanted to ask you, do you remember your first birthing experience
Yes.
at all?
I do.
What is that like? Was it
I do.
the nerves? I mean, take me back there.
You will laugh about my first birth. It was horrible. So we students, we're fighting about births because now you need to fill a register.
Yes.
And this mom had twins, a twin pregnancy. So one of my colleagues stole my birth. Okay, and now it's twin pregnancy. I want to do it so that I can score twice. Do the birth and do the twins. But she beat me into it and she got there first.
Okay.
And now the first twin comes out. It's having all these, there were no scans and all that.
Yeah.
Now she didn't know that the babies were not normal. Okay. Now the first twin comes out, it's what is called anencephaly.
Yes.
And
What is that?
that means there's no skull.
Oh.
Okay. Yes. So bad, it's not a beautiful scene to see. Now, as a first birth you're going to be doing, now we are standing there to witness the birth of the twins.
Oh, gosh.
As students.
Yeah.
And now she faints.
So you had to jump in.
I had to jump in.
What?
I'm petrified myself.
Because you've seen...
I've seen this, I've never seen, and the tutor
And
is
what
saying,
happens to that first child?
the first child now, this one who's
Gotta be
fainted
taken-
it has to be taken out and be addressed as a human being up until subsequently the baby has to pass on. And now I had to jump in and do this birth. That was my first birth, and I was so scared. I was so scared.
Now you wait for the second child to come
Second
now.
child, and now I'm thinking, what if the second one is the same like that one?
Yeah.
But fortunately, the second one was perfect. That was my first birth.
That's an intense roller coaster, eh?
It's an intense.
Well, when you look back, was there any memory that really stands out? Like, I mean, I know you've had so many beautiful memories.
Yes.
Was there a moment when you were like, when you really felt like, this is actually what I'm here to do? When you feel the connection between source, like, do you remember ever feeling like, wow, yeah, this is it?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of love in, but just to have those moments and
Mm.
to hang on to them.
Yeah, we do. You know, some people know me as quite a skirmish kind of a person. But once I worked after qualifying as a midwife, I went into an area called Bizana, which is in Eastern Cape. Very impoverished area, cruelty of injustices of the past,
Yeah.
wherein you're taking a young person who's coming from college to a rural clinic to be as a midwife there with one other midwife. That was unfair because we have to alternate. I know nothing. I've just qualified yesterday. So I birthed this family, and which was a beautiful birth with a lot of gentleness and all that. So a couple of days later, they bring me a chicken and a steamed bread. It's in an old plastic.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see that this plastic has done a lot of work.
Lot of miles.
Quite,
it's faded.
Exactly. It's even stinking kind of. And it had this chicken and this bread. And one of my colleagues was asking, are you going to eat it? I said, definitely, I am going to, because this has been prepared with love.
Yeah.
And they've shown their love in this chicken that they've slaughtered for me, and this bread they've made for me.
Sure.
And they had nothing. They had nothing, but they wanted to show their gratuity.
That's probably their meal that they were giving to you.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. That's when I realized that if we can respect each other, respect humanity, we'll go a long way.
Let's talk about your belief. Have you always believed in a higher power? Where are you with the Creator? Is it... Tell me about your relationship.
Yes. You know, sometimes I'm misunderstood because I'm a believer in not necessarily God, ancestry, whatever. We all have higher power that is responsible, whatever you choose to call it.
Yeah.
As
Same
long
thing.
as
Different names, same thing.
different names. Okay. Why Africans are seen as being dumb when they're saying, I believe in ancestry. Okay. Let them be. Let them be. Let the person who wants to believe in what they believe, because it will create a better person.
Yes.
Okay. You have to belong.
You connect to something either way.
You have to connect to something. You cannot exist in a vacuum, especially if you're going to bring life to the world.
Yeah.
Say positive words. Pray, even if you're dealing with a parent that doesn't believe in prayer. Have your own secret prayer for wealth and health upon the life that you bring.
Yes.
And it will happen.
Yeah.
It will happen. And sometimes when things are going a little bit grey.
Yeah, what happens when you're having a bad time, when because you've been to a place now where you've maybe lost a child before, you've been to that dark place. What happens now if you're in a similar situation? How do you strengthen yourself? How do you prepare yourself? Where do you go then?
You need to dig into your belief.
Yeah.
Whatever you believe in, dig into your belief system. Speak to God. Ask for healing.
Yes.
And even when you feel like, I don't know whether I took a right decision here, be able to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
And I always said to the moms, an empty vessel can never give.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always be able to pick up that my well is running dry.
Yes.
Okay, and go and replenish.
Yes.
How you replenish? How I replenish personally is to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym in the morning.
So let's talk about that, because I always find that every person that's really, really happy or successful in life has some form of discipline, commitment, and consistency. So let's talk about how you take care of your wellness, your physical wellness, your mental wellness. Let's talk about that.
Yes. I am strict about nutrition.
Yes.
Okay. Hardly ever do takeouts.
Yeah.
Okay. High protein, low carbs, a lot of greens
Yes.
in my plate. That is what I believe.
Yes.
Lot of fluids, especially water.
Yeah.
Okay. Sleep well when you can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Switch off in time from the social media, glitz and glam and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Go to bed with peace.
Yes.
Okay. Wake up in the morning. First thing you do, if you don't have to rush for a bath, give to you. Giving to me means either getting up in the morning for my walk or going to the gym for 1.5 to 2 hours
Yes.
and give to me. That
Yes.
is me.
Yeah.
And every now and again, I have to go away.
Yeah.
Okay. Take a break, go away,
Yeah.
go for holiday, and just take a time out. And I come back feeling replenished.
I love that. I love that. Let's talk about young ladies out there that, or men, want to become a midwife, want to be part of the birthing process. What advice have you got for them?
It's a beautiful profession. Do it.
Yeah.
If your heart is with it, do it. And seek good mentorship. Yes, I've got few girls that I'm mentoring at the moment.
I know one of the young ladies
Yes.
that's with you.
Yes.
Kelly Roberts.
Yes.
Lovely young lady, very
Yes.
talented, lovely
She-
spirit.
yes.
I train her mum.
Oh, wow.
And I've taken her for a session, and when I actually found out that she was working with you, that's how I got hold of you. I was so
Yes.
excited.
Wow. And I was
I
wondering,
was like,
out
that's
of
my
the
woman,
blue-
that's my queen. Like, you don't
out of
understand.
the blue after 13
How is-
years.
but how is
did you-
that? How is that?
Yes. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to know that you are giving.
Yeah.
You're okay. And now this is the time for me
Yes.
to be generous.
Yeah.
Okay. Once I went to Thailand, and the big Buddha of Phuket.
Yes, yes.
As you're going up, it's a lot of stairs. I think it's around about 60 or 70 stairs or something along
Yeah,
those
yeah.
lines. So every stair has got a message,
A mantra.
a mantra. And as you're coming down on the other side, it has got another mantra.
Yeah,
There's two.
yeah.
A man over 50, what should they be losing?
Yes.
Lose selfishness,
Yes.
gain more wealth in terms of wisdom.
Wisdom.
Give
The true wealth.
True wealth, not just materials.
Yeah, because you leave it when you leave.
Exactly. So I took that with me,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I brought it with me.
Wow.
Everywhere I go, I always say that more than getting, what can I give?
Exactly. There's such an amazing
Exactly.
gift in giving.
It's a
Because the
lot.
Creator creates and gives, so we
yes.
are part of God in flow at that moment.
Absolutely. And if you can look at 10 commandments,
Yeah.
they cut across.
Yes, yes, yes.
10 commandments, it's what we are talking about, that you mustn't steal.
Yes.
Okay. You must love freely.
Love.
You-
Love is such an important word that's taken for granted.
Absolutely.
And fear, false evidence appearing real. Before we go, because I know you got another appointment and another blessed gift coming your way soon. I always ask my guests at the end of the show, what's the definition of a fit life for you?
A fit life for me is not just to have a muscle and
Yeah.
all that. It's the best heartbeat for me.
Yeah.
Every now and again when I go for my annuals, and sometimes the younger doctor will say, what's wrong with your heart? I said, what do you mean? Why at your age you're still having a resting heartbeat of 60? Okay. Why your blood pressure is still 117 over 72?
Yes, gifts.
Because I gave to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Fitness for me is to maintain my mental well-being. Fitness for me is to have a good heartbeat.
Yes.
Okay. Fitness for me is the best pulse.
Yes.
And fitness for me is to be able to get up. Sometimes I have to demonstrate how to squat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
To get the
Because I've seen on your
Yes,
post, you show the lady, you show the thing, you got to squat because it's part of childbirth. It prepares you.
Exactly. So now, if I'm saying, though now,
I'm sure you got an amazing squat technique. I'm going to get you to my gym and we're going to check your squats out.
exactly. So these days, sometimes when I have to get up, I always say, "Son, please help me to get up." But at least I must be able to maintain my body.
Awesome. Xoli, it's not many times that people get given their flowers before they die. I sort of the main reason why I wanted you here was just to say thank you.
Thank you.
For helping me share some of the most amazing moments of my life.
Lovely.
Thank you. May you continue to be blessed. And
thank
I
you.
hope that other children that are coming to the world get to experience an angel like you.
Absolutely. When I retire, I make a promise that I am going to go out and do clinical expertise for free.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the young midwives that I'm mentoring at the moment, and you can see that her spirit is so down. She thinks that she could never be a great midwife. I said, no. By the time I die, you're going to be replenishing me.
Yes.
So that is my passion, that younger midwives that feel like the system has failed them.
Yes.
They've got the passion, but they feel like everywhere we go, we are told that we're not good enough.
Yes.
They will be good enough. One day they will be good enough.
And let's close on that note. In general, for everybody, if you believe that you'll be good enough, you surely will. Thank you so much. One last word of wisdom to everyone out there watching. What's your last thought?
Make every day to matter.
Make every day matter.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Don't wake up and have no purpose.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
Welcome. Thank you. Blessings to you as well. And I hope you'll find healing, further healing.
Thank you so much. And we can pass it
I
on.
know the loss of the child will
know.
always scar you.
But this conversation has helped me somewhat. You know, you carry a lot of pain and guilt. And I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you to all the other midwives and medical professionals
Thank
out there.
you.
May God bless you and direct you and guide you and keep reaching for the stars.
Peace.
Peace out.
Bye.
Nice.